need to know, are you
Yeah.
are you
Yeah.
okay? Are you okay, Amber?
You know, I really wish people could see me for truly the person that I am and understand that it's hard to grow up and be an addict, and it's very hard. And I want people to just have some compassion.
Hey guys, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. Amber Portwood was on the Teen Mom OG reunion last night, and oh my gosh, you guys, it was really bad. And whew, I got so many messages from you guys. One of my favorite subscribers who absolutely loves Teen Mom and who I will never stop making content for, Juan, messaged me this morning and said, Katie, can you watch the Teen Mom reunion and please tell me what you thought about Amber? Some of us really would love to hear your commentary. And so to Juan and your friends, this is for you. I don't know who your friends are, Juan, so one day can you tell me? Anyways, I love Juan. Amber Portwood was on the show last night and on the reunion. And the reunion had, I'm not even going to talk about the rest of the stuff because the stuff with Amber needs its own video. And during her interview, she literally could not even keep her eyes open. I mean, her eyes were closed.
Grow up and be an addict, and it's very hard. And I want people to just have some
She had her eyes fully closed. She could not keep her eyes open. She was talking, she was rambling, she was at times mumbling. She seemed like she was completely and utterly intoxicated or high on something.
My hands are up and I'm saying, you know, I'm here. I love you. And, you know.
And when she did open her eyes, they were only slits. She was unable to really answer any questions or take accountability for anything. And at one point in time in the interview, Dr. Drew flat out asked her, like, are you okay? Because I'm pretty sure that Dr. Drew and Nessa could tell that she was on something. And Amber, being that she's on probation, will say and claim every which way to Sunday that she cannot use or abuse anything because of her probation requirements. So she will say that every situation, but I've had enough people in my DMs who are concerned say, my husband was on this, my boyfriend was on this, they always were on something, they were able to fake these tests, or they would get a prescription and get an exception and then they abuse the prescription. And I don't know how she might be getting around this, but it seemed pretty obvious that she was on something last night simply because of her eyes. Like, it's not typical that you would be on a show and you can't even keep your eyes open. And then when she did open her eyes, they looked like they were like super bloodshot. Given all of that, anytime she was getting any sort of feedback that, you know, are you okay? Everything fine? She was like, well, I just want people to like give me compassion. And generally, Amber will fly back and say, you know, I have mental health issues. She will bring up her bipolar or maybe her borderline personality disorder. And she will use that as sort of her, you know, I'm not feeling good, or I wish people would like understand that I'm struggling. And it was weird because when Dr. Drew asked her that, she didn't even bring up her mental health. And she flat out said, I wish people would understand that I'm an addict, or something like that. Check it out.
Grow up and be an addict, and it's very hard. And I want people to just have some compassion.
So she said she's like growing up, being an addict. She didn't say recovering addict, she said addict. And part of me thinks that maybe this was just a slip of the tongue. Like, you know how generally when you are sober minded, you might know like, I will use, this is my excuse. I don't want people to know that I'm using. And I understand there's a lot of shame that comes with acknowledging a relapse. And I also understand that if she is to admit that she's using, that could be a violation of her probation. So she might not want to be open or honest about that because of that. And I found it really weird because she said, I'm an addict. And then she wants compassion for being an addict, and all of this relating to her stormy relationship with Leah and how people view her. And Dr. Drew just kind of like ended it at that point. Like, he didn't push her. He didn't say anything. He didn't say, like, are you on something? I mean, it was so obvious that her eyes were shut when she was talking. You don't see this on the show. Like, her eyes are wide open. You know, she has big eyes and she couldn't even keep them open. So after all of this, she sort of is like rambling about how, you know, people don't understand how hard it is. And, you know, she doesn't know what she's going to do about her relationship with Leah. And Leah has her feelings and Leah doesn't want to talk to her. And she even said that, like, she reaches out to Leah and Leah doesn't respond. Leah won't speak with her. And she wanted to blame everything on Christina and Gary, basically implying that it's their fault that she doesn't have a relationship with her daughter and that they tell Leah things or Christina has gotten in the way and taken over her position. And when they finally bring out Gary, he gets super honest. And I think he said what all of us were already wondering. So this past season, she has been on Instagram Live and she has been disparaging Christina. And she has been very vulgar. She has called her horrific names. She has accused Gary of trying to seduce her. She has made the public believe that he wants to be with her. She has accused them of poisoning Leah, of withholding Leah, of not doing enough for her. And Gary finally said that he didn't want to speak for Leah, but that it's, you know, she has very strong feelings because it's hard for her as a little girl to go online and see her mom's Instagram videos or see an article about the videos or have one of her friends show her her mom on Instagram Live. And she's saying everything that Amber is saying about mom and dad, or stepmom and dad.
You know, somebody gets online and always says stuff where Leah sees all her Instagram videos, whether it's Leah seeing it or Leah's friends, and it's like...
And Amber gets so angry about that, and it's like, Dr. Drew says that they should be in therapy because of that. And I'm sitting here thinking, Dr. Drew, you have given her so many chances. You are so hard on Ryan. You are so hard on Adam. You are so hard on every other addict except for Amber. You give her no accountability. You are her enabler because maybe you're afraid of her popping off. Maybe you know that you need to keep her happy or she might quit the show. But you're supposed to be a doctor. You're not supposed to be doing harm. And I'm trying to understand how, in a capacity like this, you would be telling a 12-year-old girl it's her responsibility to be in therapy with her mom who can't stay offline and can't stop disparaging her dad and her stepmom. I think the common denominator is not Gary and Christina. It is Amber using her platform so irresponsibly, having a pattern of behavior where she accuses everyone of theft, of stealing, of cheating on her, of being of DV. She has been awful to Gary and Christina this year. Last year it was Andrew, the year before it was Matt. Everyone is to blame except for Amber. So he was taking Gary's side in that, which I thought was really weird. Like, you shouldn't have to do that. And the further it got along and the more Gary started to open up and the more it made Amber look bad, she was furious and she didn't want to talk about it. And she literally like stormed off. And it's because Dr. Drew got her to admit that Gary didn't try to seduce her and that she blew up something and she caused a storm, an SHIT storm, making it into something that it wasn't. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's true. Because he's like, so are you saying that he tried to seduce you? No, I'm not saying
You
that.
thought he was trying to seduce you?
Seduce me? I don't think he was trying to like seduce me, but I think he was doing a bit much for somebody who had a girl.
Okay, so he wasn't trying to seduce her. I wouldn't say that, but I mean, I wouldn't want if you wouldn't want a man doing that to your wife. And he goes, well, maybe I wouldn't, but that doesn't matter. Like, Gary said that it was like, he was trying to console her. She was going through something very tough. He said that he knew it would upset Christina, but that he doesn't have any feelings for Amber. Amber admitted that it was a touch of the face. There was nothing more, and maybe on her hip. Long story short, Gary said their relationship has broken down because Amber will not stop disparaging them online, will not stop going live and saying such awful things. And then Amber's like, well, I pull those all down. It doesn't matter, Amber. They're still up. They're recorded by other people and they're republished. And then they're written about, right? As she's getting more heat about this, she's like, I'm done. And she tells Gary that he's, after calling him a thief, a cheater, a seducer, and all of these things for months online, she says, you're a really great guy. You're such a good dad. You've always been there for me. You're such a good person. And she then decided that it's all Christina's fault. And she starts, again, calling Christina horrible, calling her names, and then walks off set and doesn't want to talk anymore. And Christina would refuse to go on stage with her because of everything that Amber's been doing online. So it had me thinking, Leah's 12. She knows if her mom is not sober. Kids are smart like that. When I talked to Andrew Glennon last year, he told me that Amber was using opiates, allegedly, and that she was smoking herbal stuff in her closet all hours of night. He told me that she was seeing a psychiatrist that would, he alleged, basically prescribe her whatever she wanted, that she was on Klonopin, which is known to be highly addictive and can cause inebriation if you take too much of it. He claimed or alleged that she abused her Klonopin, and she also abused opiates. He claimed that she was not sober and had not been sober for a very long time. And he even said that at one point in time, Amber asked him to go to the doctor for her, claimed that he had an injury, and then asked for opiates. And then she then asked him, once you get the opiates, you give those to me. So she wanted him to claim an injury so that he could get drugs and then give it to her. And I don't know if that's true. That was Andrew's point of view, but all of this seems to be pretty in line with what we saw last night. He also said that, because she has prescriptions for everything, she could probably be able to justify using anything. And he also said that he wouldn't be, I think it was him or someone else that said that, it's not too hard to fake tests to come out clean. And that's also true. There's lots of ways people can get around getting bad, like failing tests for the court. My opinion at the end of the day is, one, Amber should not have any access to Leah. As long as she's like this, as long as she's using, allegedly, as long as she is still continuing disparaging and speaking so negatively about everyone, and as long as she's clearly not stable, Leah should not have access to her. And I think Gary is absolutely right in limiting that access and being the parent that puts his foot down. I think anyone that's enabling her at this point in time is a part of the problem. I think if Dr. Drew is going to continue to enable this, if MTV is going to continue to enable this and make her the victim, it doesn't help Amber. It could ultimately end up killing her, because if nobody's going to hold her accountable and nobody's going to be like, Amber, I think you're using again. I think you need help. I think you need to go to rehab. And she keeps using, she could eventually have an overdose and die. You can't stay addicted to these kinds of drugs your whole life and not eventually have some sort of medical issues. And we know, based on statistics, that the opioid epidemic is killing more Americans than ever before. So I feel for her that she is an addict, and I feel for her that she does struggle with mental illness, but I also don't feel that it's inappropriate for Gary to withhold Leah, or for Leah to have an opinion that she doesn't want to be around her mom. It's an illness. It is. But these types of illnesses only stay illnesses when they have enablers to maintain the illness. And she has a lot of enablers around her. And nobody seems to be telling her that she needs to go into rehab. And it's sad. What do you think about all of this? Are you shocked that she walked off set? Do you agree that Dr. Drew was like totally off base? Tell me in the comments below. Bye, guys.